Probably one of the most difficult things that appraisers have to do in developing support for adjustments are some of the soft adjustments like view, location, quality, and condition. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about some various ways that you can support your site value and the associated view premiums that may be associated with the adjustments that you would need to take. So I've got a hypothetical sample appraisal problem in a master planned retirement community where a typical home is maybe 1,550 square feet, and I've taken actual comparable sales from this development and have looked at properties. Some have a view and some don't. And so what we've done is gone and developed an adjustment to reflect what we think are the physical differences with everything but the view, in an effort to see if we can find a way to support the view adjustment. So we've gone to the side-by-side view in total. Use the Smart Adjust, use the detailed view, and have set up an adjustment profile, which in this case we have decided that it's a 5,000 square foot lot, and we think that the adjustment for lot size is somewhere, we're using a 20% surplus land rate. Let me show you where we've got that number from. We've done a little market analysis to try to determine what the surplus land rate is, and as part of that we have gone to some analysis to determine that that rate is typically about 20%. And so what we're doing is looking at some adjustment support. I'm bringing in from another subdivision appraisal. Now, to put into perspective, we've done hundreds of large bulk lot residential subdivisions over the years and have developed some basic ratios that we use in trying to determine what view premiums are. So in this case, we've got two lots in the same subdivision where the only real difference is size. So if I'm looking, this is a lot that sold for $115,000. This one sold for $110,000. The difference was about 2,188 square feet in lot size. Here we've taken the different sales prices per square foot. The difference was $5,000, and the price difference was $2.29 a square foot, which is about 28%. This one, the ratio was higher, and on this other, the ratio was a little lower. It was $1.56 a square foot with a 15%. So the average on this is about 29%. Now, in some of the other analysis that we've done, we've found that 20% is usually a pretty good number, which tells me on this I probably ought to be adjusting the lot size difference at about $4 a square foot, which I've now done. We've come up and have looked at the average price per square foot, in this case, is $259. And if I'm using a ratio, and again, I've got to support this ratio, but it tells me my adjustment should be something in the neighborhood of $90 a square foot for this particular property. So I come back to my form view, and what it's showing me is that when I adjust for the physical differences, I have two sales. Now you'll notice that this one has a good view and back some open space. This one is just a little bit of an elevated view. Now I've done my research so that I know that. And then the next sales that I have are just typical views of the area. So when I come and look at this property, it's just got a typical area view, and when I look at the other comparable sales, they all tend to have more of a typical view, and you will see that these sales tend to are looking in the range of about anywhere from a low of 368. This one may have a quality difference that might not be where there's something other than just view, but comp 4, comp are both somewhere between 400 and 390 to 400,000 before you make your adjustments. So I have gone to my worksheet that I've tied with total, and on sheet 3 we've developed a little summary table where I can come in and say, okay, I need to figure out what is a base lot price for homes in this subdivision. So what we've done is we've taken a ratio method, and to put into perspective, we've done a little bit of analysis where we've been able to go and look at lot sales that have taken place where in this is a completely different subdivision, but it gives me some kind of a ratio where we find that the median lot price in this particular subdivision was about $78,000. The median home price was something closer to was 417, and when I calculate that, it tells me that the difference is about the land component was about 19%. Now, in the case of the subject, we're dealing with the property where it's got a lot more in the way of common area improvements. The lots are kind of small, but it's in a golf course community with lots of amenities. So I can go in and develop the adjustment for the base lot based on what I think a normal ratio would be. From that, I've taken the sales prices, and here we are coming up where it's saying, well, a typical lot based on these ratios, and it assumes these ratios are right, and I've taken the average here to come up with this 87,806. So what I've now done is gone in and tried to determine what is the typical premium for these views. Now I'm going to go into my comment addendum where I've now provided some analysis that basically says, and this is giving the logic for the adjustment that is basically saying view adjustments are based on a percentage of the base lot price. Our analysis shows that view premiums can range from 5% of a base lot price to over 100%. Our market studies reflect that, and we've gone in and developed classes of view. So if I have a class 1 view, that our analysis shows that that's typically between 5 and 10% of a base lot price. If it's a class 2 view, it's between 10 and 25%. If I have a class 3, which is has views of the city or some scenic landscape, but it doesn't have privacy and the views are kind of mid-range, it's between 25 and 50%. A class 4 view is a pretty good view over a golf course or water amenity. And then we have our very best views that suggest that the premium should be something in the neighborhood of 75 to 100% of my base lot price. Now, the concept of this was originally developed where we looked at a subdivision where lots on one side of the subdivision with an unobstructed city view was selling for $100,000, whereas the lots across the street in the same subdivision with the same neighborhood characteristics and size was going for $50,000. And we started to determine that there was a relationship between the view and the lot price, and we characterize this and then provide some basic analysis that says this is how I developed my lot adjustment. So in this particular case, as we look at comparable 1, this is elevated, it has back some open space, and so I'm calculating my view adjustment at about 60%. And the other is an elevated lot that offers a pretty decent view, and I'm figuring the view premium at 30%. So that gives me an adjustment of about 52,684 and 26,343. Now the test is to plug this number in and see what it does to my adjustment. So I'm going to round this adjustment to 50,000. And I've got to get it adjusting the right direction. And then I'm going to adjust this one at 30,000. And look what that does. It brings these two sales into line with the other sales that don't really have any significant adjustments or view premiums. So this is one way that I can now go in and explain to my client that comparable 1 has a class 3 view. So I would, with an estimated 60%, and with an adjustment of $50,000, and it falls into line with the other comparable sales that don't have views. As you begin to track these over time, it gives you a way to go in and support your adjustments. The thing that we find now is that I can now come in and look at my unadjusted analysis where I've got a where I've got a pretty big range of values in the before, and so there's a 13% overall range before, after I've made my adjustments, and my outlier is this is the one that sold for $368. But it tightens up my adjusted range so that I'm coming in with a pretty tight number of about $390. And we see that these other sales tend to fall right into line, and it makes that a much cleaner adjustment. So I hope that this gives you some ideas on ways that you can go in and support your adjustments for view. The next time we're going to talk a little bit about adjustments for supporting location differences. It's common that I will review an appraisal where an appraiser is saying that because the property is located on a golf course, that they make a location adjustment saying that the golf course location is what influenced the purchase price. But they will also make a view adjustment. The question is have I double adjusted for this property? So that's the topic we're going to deal with next time. Hope this is useful. Thanks for watching.